Distractions, distractions, distractions. It is 2025. We have phones, TV shows, movies, video games, clubs, and so much more to distract us from our overall goal. Remember that pleasures aren't inherently bad, but indulging in them too much and having a loss of balance is exactly what causes those same pleasures to then become distractions. In this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how distractions are the absolute death, the absolute killer of progress. As adults and even as older teens that are 16 and up, right? We all have what I like to call must-dos. Must-dos are things that are ingrained into your day-to-day and weekly schedule, typically things you need to do to survive, such as working, going to school, cooking, cleaning your living area, and so on. So let's paint a picture. You're a 23-year-old aspiring real estate investor. You work from Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. You meal prep on the weekends, and your total commute daily is 2 hours. 1 hour there, 1 hour back home. Now, remember that progress word that I mentioned earlier. Progress is everything that is not a must-do. And progress is made between these times. In this specific example, it is made between the hours of 4 p.m. until you go to bed, and it is made on the weekends when you're off from work, you're not meal prepping and washing your laundry and doing all these things. Now, during these times when you could be making progress, like I said, like between the hours of 4 p.m. and by the time you go to bed, and remember on the weekends as well, you could be using this time to, again, research on real estate, to actually work on becoming an actual real estate investor, not always aspiring. You could be working on researching profitable neighborhoods. You could be working on saving your money. You could be working on new ways or cold calling people to mentor you on how to real estate invest. You could be doing all these different things. But instead, in this example, you're out here partying on the weekends, drinking alcohol, going to the bar, not hitting the gym, just pissing your time away. Now, yes, these things may seem fun at first, but you will notice that these things are counterproductive and honestly will work against you, not for you. So now, let's define what a distraction is. A distraction is any person, place, activity, and thing that draws you away from your intended purpose. So for example, you were supposed to study Friday night for your midterms, but instead your friend invited you to a concert and you decided to go to that concert. Guess what? That friend and that concert is a distraction. Let me give you another example. Let's say you're out here, you're striving to lose weight, gain a little muscle, you're trying to become more healthy, right? On your way home, you see a Dunkin' Donuts. You decide to go get you a nice little half dozen. You get a little glaze, you get a little jelly donut, you get a little strawberry, you get a little chocolate, right? Guess what? Those donuts are a distraction. Remember, a distraction is anything that is drawing you away, pulling you away from your intended purpose, right? And like I said, your intended purpose doesn't have to be this grand thing of like opening a business or becoming a CEO or becoming a supervisor of where you're working or, you know, things of this nature. It could just be simply just prioritizing your sleep, making sure you're getting at least 7.5 hours of sleep a night. You know what I'm saying? It could just be prioritizing your skin health by making sure you're drinking 1 to 2 liters a day of water, right? It could simply just be prioritizing maybe drinking a little less caffeine or just having a little less sugar, right? Please, guys, remember that this video is not just for people with such grand goals. It could just be such small, minute things. And the thing is, some small, minute things can draw you away from those goals, can draw you away from your intended purpose. In this game of life, we have things, what I like to call as constants, right? And unfortunately, in this capitalist society, especially in America, the most capitalist of the world, working is a constant. No matter how you want to put it, no matter how you want to twist it, do it, however you want to look at it, no matter how ideally you want it to be, working is a constant. And if your goal is to either strive for a job that will constantly pay your bills to where you'll have some money to be able to save and put in a 401k, but right now you're at a dead-end job, right? This video is for you. If you're striving to be a business owner, this video is for you. If you're striving to be a supervisor or get to a larger position, this video is for you. If you're striving for any of these things, no matter how minute, no matter how large, no matter how grand, you cannot let minor short-term comforts pull you away from your intended purpose. You cannot let a small beer pull you away from losing weight or staying away from alcohol. You can't let one cigarette pull you away from 2 months of being off of cigarettes. You can't let one donut pull you away from being away from excess sugar for the last 3 weeks. You can't let, you know what I'm saying? You just cannot let these minute, because I'm telling you, when you look at the grand scheme of things, for example, right? I'm 21. I'm not thinking about that donut I had when I was 18. I'm not thinking about that pizza I had when I was 19. I'm not thinking about them chicken wings I had when I was 20. No, because that's how minute and how minuscule it is. But guess what? Our brain, we know ourselves. We know how to convince ourselves when we're like, oh, you know what? We deserve this. We earned this. We did this. We did that. We know how to convince ourselves. Let's be honest, right? We're our greatest lawyer. We're our greatest defender. We're our greatest, we are our greatest manipulator. You could be thinking about, let's say you're pushing to lose weight, right? Let's say you're pushing to lose weight, get healthy, gain some muscle, do all these different things, right? You could be consistent for a month, doing your thing. But guess what? You only have a month. Let's say you've been, excessively overweight for a majority of your life. 1 month of doing good doesn't mean you're now able to pig out for 3 weeks. No, you need to continue the boulder of success to where now you'll be able to push it off, and it's so big it can move on its own. You're not at that point right now. You're a little pebble. You need to make it into a boulder, right? But you could be being successful, doing your thing, where you're like, oh man, I'm on the treadmill, I'm eating my broccoli, I'm eating my white rice, I'm eating tilapia, I'm eating salmon, I'm getting my omega-3s, I'm going to the gym, I'm hitting my cardio, I'm getting my 10,000 steps. You know what? I deserve a nice little cheat day. And then that cheat day turns into a cheat week, into a cheat month, into a cheat year. And then now you're farther back than you was before, than when you first started. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to remember, right? Because FOMO is a real thing. FOMO will make you think that something will be gone forever if you don't get it now. Well, guess what? It is not true. Those short-term comforts will always be there. The bar will always be there. The club will always be there. The donuts will always be there. The cookies will always be there. The cake will always be there, right? The video game will always be there. The movie will always be there. The Game of Thrones will always be there. All these things will always be there. But guess what? That progress bar, for you becoming your own boss, or for you to get to that target weight, or for you to get to that target amount of money, or for you to reach that specific level of success, that progress bar ain't making no progress. Sometimes it's actually dropping lower and lower, day by day, week by week. And guess what? It is of your responsibility to make sure to cut out some of those short-term comforts, to continue to make progress day by day, week by week. Because I guarantee you, if you continue to just give in, like, you think you're not paying for it? You're paying for it with your progress. One day you'll look and bam, that progress bar ain't moved in weeks. And now you're behind. Now you gotta push that deadline back a couple months, a couple weeks, maybe even a couple years. You wanted to buy a house, but guess what? You went on this vacation and this vacation. You bought this designer and this designer and this car. And this car is pushing you back a band a month. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need, like, I really need you guys to understand this, because yes, this is a beautiful time to be alive, right? You have so much information that's readily available to you at the palm of your hands. But guess what? With great things, there comes bad things. And guess what? We are in a time where people value convenience over basically everything. And guess what? Short-term comforts are extremely convenient to where we're able to pay for it with our progress, pay for it with our time, pay for it with our well-being, and not looking at ourselves degrading, not looking at our progress degrading. That gym progress is degrading. That business progress is degrading. There's 1,000 other individuals that are outworking you right now, that are getting that dream weight right now, that is getting that dream vacation right now, that is getting that dream vehicle right now. It's time to stop giving into these short-term comforts and start aiming long-term. Start aiming for these goals and this progress. So I want to hit you guys with one last nugget, right? And then I'm gonna want to close this video. Every day that you pay towards your distractions, every day that you give in to those short-term comforts is a day that you make your progress and your dream, your vision, more and more expensive. And what I mean by more and more expensive, I don't necessarily mean money. I mean time. And guess what? We all have a finite amount of time, and we don't know exactly how much time God has given us. Some of us have 55 years. Some of us have 40 years. Some of us have 30 years. Some of us have 75. Some of us have 90 years, but 30 of those years you're disabled, right? We don't know exactly how much time we have on this finite earth, right? So every day that you're giving into your short-term comfort, you're giving into the beer, you're giving into the club, you're giving into the partying, you're giving into the money spending and all this different stuff, right? Is a day that you're making your dream more and more unattainable and more expensive, because time is finite. Time is finite. We need to stop thinking that our 20s are gonna last forever and that we're gonna be young forever. Unfortunately, that's just not how it is. We have plenty of, I listen to many individuals older than me. I've seen it, dudes that are 55, 60, working tirelessly, because guess what? They weren't focused. They didn't have a balance. And like I said, I'm not saying that you can't relax. Man, I love relaxing. I love chilling, but I have a balance where there's some days where I'm like, you know what? I've worked hard enough this week. I'm gonna chill and not do anything but play the game for hours. But I'm still working on a business on the side. I'm still working on videos. I'm still working on editing and networking, right? It's all about balance. Balance. Once you find that balance, to where you're not just paying into your short-term distractions, that's when progress is made, and that's when your dream and your vision that God bestowed onto you will slowly but surely made achievable. Anyways, I shall see you guys in the next video. Much love.